One. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Devil's Joint. And today I have Angus Crookshank, a new addition to the organization. Thanks for coming, Angus.
Cheers, man. Thanks for having me on.
You know, oh, it says now, chat is now open to everyone. Okay, chat is now open to everyone. No one's in here yet, but, yeah, welcome. What I really wanted to do was make a video for the fans. You know, that's what I do, like DIY interviews and stuff. And personally, I took an interest in when you signed with the organization, and I have my own opinions about how things will work out with the team. So I wanted to ask you about your contract. It's a 2-year contract. The second that well, see, we're gonna start. That's the coolest name I've ever seen. That's a Canes fan right there.
Oh man.
But your first year is a 2-way, and the second year is a 1-way, correct?
Yes.
So yeah, what my assumption was, when I'm talking Devils with my friends or whatever, is that obviously people go down, things happen. You'll hopefully get the chance this season to come up to New Jersey, and the fan base is so great in New Jersey. We love our players when they and when they leave, people they go crazy like when their favorite player leaves. You know how it is these days, but.
Oh, yeah.
What was your favorite team growing up?
You know what? I mean, I'm from Vancouver. I was a diehard Canucks fan. I kind of grew up in the era of like Marcus Naslund, Todd Bertuzzi, Brendan Morrison. Those guys were kind of
Morrison was a
my
devil.
heroes. My heroes growing up. I mean, I loved the Sedins as well. But like, I mean, growing up, when you first kind of fall in love with hockey, like Marcus Naslund was my favorite player.
Yeah, he's a legend. He's a
He is a
legend.
legend.
And you mentioned Morrison, who was traded to Vancouver from New Jersey for my favorite player, Alexander Mogilny. He was I'm a little older than you, but Alexander Mogilny was my favorite player before he was a Devil. Right when he came in the league, and he finally got into the Hall of Fame this year.
Absolute stud.
Yeah, stud. He's been waiting. They took way too long to get him into the Hall of Fame. So you're a Canucks fan. So in 2011, you were, I guess, a little young, but they did go to the finals, and that must have been hard on you, I guess. I know how it is. My team's lost in the finals too.
Heartbreaking, man. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That team was so good too. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just for it to go 7 games. I mean, I'm sure as you know, anything can happen in Game 7. It just didn't go our way, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to even think that Vancouver has never won a cup still. There's some
It's
teams that
crazy.
haven't, but
It's crazy.
Vancouver's had so many times where they really should have, and especially around that time with the Sedins.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, well, you know what? I got lucky. I personally, we're not here to talk about me, but personally, I was at the age where the Devils just became one of the better teams, and then I got to see all their cups in a row. So
Oh, that's nice.
as a fan,
Those teams were stacked.
oh, absolutely, especially the 2000 and like the 2001 team that had Mogilny on it. Yeah, d-
Oh, they were so
unbelievable.
good.
Arnott, Eliash, you could go on and on forever. But who was your favorite player growing up? Like, or who might even? Let me ask you this: your favorite player, and it doesn't have to be a Canuck, but or a player that maybe you emulate your style of play after, or both.
Favorite player growing up that's non-Canucks related was probably Ovi. I just thought Ovi was
Nice.
so cool on the ice, just hammering the
Yeah,
puck, flying around the ice. Um,
beast.
it was like growing up, it was either you were Sid or Ovi, and I was kind of more in the Ovi camp.
Me too.
Um, then kind of player I model my game after. I kind of try to model my game a little bit after kind of a Yanni Gord type player. A lot of energy, hard to play against, bit of a pest, but can still kind of chip in offensively and bury the puck.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what the Devils need is someone who's gonna be a little more physical. I guess you could say the fans would. Some fans, I don't speak for everyone. Some fans would say the Devils need more grit, and then there's some fans that say the Devils, they want more flashy. What is my man saying here? Jet speed FT7 Pro sticks?
No, those are some trues. I use True Sticks right now.
Yeah, look at this one. I got an old Bauer Vapor. You can't even see it. I got this
Oh, and
thing.
is that a Vapor 30? Does it have the green X's on it?
Yep.
That's a
No.
sick stick back in
No.
the day.
No, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I do have two sticks right here. They're CCM Vectors. These are Stanley Cup
Yeah,
Finals game used by Alexander Mogilny
that's
in the
cool.
2001 Finals. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, brother. He didn't have the sticks you wanted, but he knows what
Yeah,
sticks he
sorry,
likes.
man.
I'm sure. Would you just get out of a skate or something?
I was just at skate, and then I was just on the bike doing some bike sprints, so the
We like to
timing
hear
worked out
that.
perfectly.
We like to hear that. We like to hear that. So let me ask you. You grew up in BC, obviously in Canada, and Canada's hockey. Even though the national sport is technically lacrosse, let's be real. Um,
Yeah.
but like how did I don't know how to even ask this question. How did you get to where you are today? Not in like like mentally, like you obviously went through Pee Wee, blah blah blah. But just give us your story, like how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. I mean, I've been playing hockey since I can remember. My dad, he played Division 1 hockey, so it's kind of one of those things where I was kind of born into the game, and I just kind of ran with it from there. Yeah, grew up playing obviously minor hockey here in BC, and then kind of worked my way through the junior ranks. I didn't go CHL. I wasn't drafted in the Western League or anything like that.
Mm.
So I went the college route, played junior A in Langley, BC, in the BCHL, and then went to the University of New Hampshire. So I'm kind of familiar with how the East Coast summers and how humid it gets out there for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And then obviously I was drafted by Ottawa, and then kind of played my first 3 years of pro hockey there. And then here we
All
are.
right.
Here we are in New Jersey.
And yeah, and now you're in Jersey, which you know what? Playing at the Rock, as a fan, you're gonna love it when you come. You're gonna be up in New Jersey. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna be there, and you're just gonna love the atmosphere. It's just the fans are great. It's such a good time. Even for when I was
I
a kid, it's better now than it was then. You
Well,
know.
I got to play in the Rock one of my games in the NHL. I actually scored in the Rock, which was kind of cool.
I
But
didn't even catch that looking into you.
yeah, the atmosphere and the crowd gets going really good in New Jersey. It was definitely one of my more favorite places to play.
Wow, that's funny. You know what? Thank you for saying that because I didn't want to. I wasn't gonna bring up like your stats and your college. I wasn't gonna bring all that stuff up, so I didn't look into that. But that's funny,
Oh,
and
it's all
it's
good.
really like it's ironic because like the funniest thing, like I played with you remember Bobby Nystrom from the old Islanders,
Yep. Oh yeah.
Islanders dynasty. His son Eric was on my line, when I played back in the day, and
Oh, cool.
he ended up in the NHL, Eric Nystrom, and his first goal was against Marty Brodeur. And he stuck it to me, because I was a huge
That's not a
Devils
bad
fan.
goalie to score your first goal on.
No, I mean that's the best. I mean it's the best.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez.
Yeah, so I was just talking to Ken Danico the other day. I did the interview with him, and I asked him a similar question I wanted to ask you, and you're in a different position, so you'll probably have a different answer. Um, and I'm not saying you have anything going on, but do you have any like advice for young players that are coming up, like looking to get drafted? Um, just anything like that, like any advice for them on how to maybe stay in the game mentally without because a lot of people they get too overwhelmed and they kind of mess their chance up. I see that a lot. So
Yeah,
you have any advice?
I think the biggest thing for me is just finding a way, as cliche and as dumb as it sounds, like find a way to get 1% better each day, whether it is shooting those extra pucks in your backyard, or even like working like what you just talked about, like kind of being able to seize opportunity and not mentally kind of crumble under pressure and stuff like that. Like work on that. It's a skill. Like you see some of the best players in the world, how they're able to handle the biggest stages in the
Right.
world. I mean, you look at that Florida team, like that team is so mentally tough and strong and
Unbelievable.
stuff that they're able to kind of deal with throughout a cup run back to back years. It's impressive, and it's a skill in of itself. So finding a way, not necessarily like obviously physically to get 1% better, but also being able to work on that mental side of things as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you know, you mentioning that Florida team, that's a team now that I feel like you could pull someone out and just drop another player in, and as long as they follow you know, the coach, they you know they could do that all day. Like anyone could be dropped
Yep.
in on that team, and they would still be good if as long as they're playing their game. And they're a scary team. They're very scary, and I think this year they might do a three-peat. That's my opinion. I'm gonna put money on it. You know. 25
Yeah, I mean
bucks.
they had a pretty impressive offseason being able to keep all those guys with kind of their
I
salary cap
I
situation.
did not think they were going to get everyone. I thought maybe they would re-sign Marshawn for a year, like a a 1 year deal, but I didn't
Yeah,
think they were going to do what they did, which is really cool. I wanted Marshawn. I made some AI photos of Marshawn as a devil, and I changed his number from 63 to 36 because I'm a big Jesper Bratt fan. So if he came to the Devils, he wouldn't be number 63 in my eyes. They probably
well,
would give it to him.
it's funny you say that. The Devils gave me 36,
Oh, really?
which is funny. So funny you mentioned that.
So do you have a specific number that like is your like lucky number that you would pick if it was available?
I mean, I've always worn number 9. That being said, I don't expect to wear number 9. Like there's some pretty legendary number 9s in the Devils uniform with Parise and most recently Taylor Hall.
Yeah.
Um, but so I wasn't expecting that number at all. But I wore so kind of my backup has always been 36. Like 3 plus 6 equals 9. That was like kind of my logic behind it.
You know what? Ironically, again, going back to Jesper Bratt, that's what he did. He was drafted 162nd, and he added 62 plus one, and he picked 63. That's how he got his number.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. I'm actually wearing my Bratsketball jersey. This is a Devils basketball jersey I had made,
That's cool.
and I call it because it's 63. It says Brat on the back, obviously. Anyway, so this is a question people always want to know. Like, what someone asked me to ask you this. They're not here, but they said they were going to come ask. But what's on your playlist? What kind of music do you listen to?
You know what? I think I'm kind of definitely more kind of classic rock and a little bit of country, but my favorite band of all time is the Rolling Stones.
Oh,
Um,
okay, that's
I,
good.
I,
That's
I
good.
got I got to see them last summer when they came to Vancouver, and that was definitely a bucket list moment for me. It was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to see these guys, especially the Rolling Stones at their age, the way that
Yeah, I know, I know
you can't imagine being that like rest in peace. Ozzy Osbourne just passed away the other day, and
for sure.
but he wasn't doing very well. But these guys, Mick Jagger's still running, like running
They were
full
rocking the
speed on
stage as if they
stage.
were 30 years younger. It was crazy, and they sounded
Yeah.
great too.
Yeah, I didn't haven't seen them recently. I probably saw them on a tour a decade ago, but I was very surprised just at the how good they were. It was before their
Yeah,
drummer passed away, which was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago now. So yeah, so the Rolling Stones. That's not an answer I would have expected. I always hear things that I don't even know. I'm a metalhead myself, so.
okay, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
how about this one? What's your favorite movie?
Oh, favorite movie. I'd probably go with Wedding Crashers.
All
With
right, that's a good one.
that one, I can quote till the cows come home.
Yeah, and
It's
Wedding Crashers is classic.
it's so good.
So this season coming up, I assume when does camp start?
It's
In
mid September.
mid September sometime, right? So what are you looking forward to this upcoming season? What's do you have like any specific goals for yourself or?
I think the big kind of overarching goal is to play in the NHL. Um, that's kind of the biggest one, obviously. But I mean, within that, I mean, you can't. I don't know. The way I kind of process things, I try not to look at the big goal. I try to have little milestones along the way. But I just try to be the best version of myself every night, every situation. Just whatever I can do to kind of help the team win, I want to do that. Whether it's playing 6 minutes a night or whether it's playing 14 minutes a night, in whatever role you need me to play, kind of thing. So just being able to embrace whatever's thrown at me and kind of roll with the punches, so to speak.
Awesome. Awesome. Like you said, it's always good to not look too far. Look at the big picture. Little goals are always the best way to go, and that goes for anything, not just hockey.
100%.
Just anything in life in general. You always go for the short term. All right, do this, then this, then this, and yeah, like you said, that's I figured that would be your answer. Make it and play in the NHL this year, of course. And we all, as I'm talking for myself, I'll speak for myself. I hope to see you up there this year. You know, we definitely need a little more pests in the New Jersey Devils system. That's for sure. Timo Meyer's out there, and he's a big guy. I think he needs to get a little more physical. Maybe you could tell him that when you see him. But you came to a good organization, man. They've had their down years, like between 2012 and 2018, even 2020 was like a real down years, and the real down years. And before that, the Devils fans were used to just nonstop winning, whether it was a Stanley Cup or just having a good team from '88 till 2012. The Devils were just on
Yeah,
top of the league nonstop, and then they had the little fall off, but now the Devils are back, and it's a really exciting team, for any player to come into. It's even of course Utica's got a great squad too. So a good coaching staff as well. I can't forget
absolutely.
the coaching staff. So yeah, we're wishing you the luck. Utica, I don't believe did very well last season, but that's not on you, Angus. You didn't do that. So
Hopefully, I can help turn it around.
yeah, hopefully. And let me ask you this: during like what you do training in the off season. What kind of things do you do specifically for you that what are your specific training, not a training regimen, but what do you work on the most when like your speed or shots, things like that.
Uh, I think for me, I try to touch on everything, but all for me is kind of as a sub 6 foot guy. I mean, I need to be strong on the puck and be able to take shots and kind of be able to be strong on my skates. So that's something I always kind of pride myself on and work on. And also just kind of being able to finish around the net. It's a skill to be able to score in front of the net, and I think that's where
Yeah.
the majority of goals. Well, I know majority of goals are scored there in the NHL. Very few guys can score from the outside, and those guys are world class. So
Yeah.
being able to have the ability to score in tight and around the front in front of the net is a skill I always try to work on.
All right, that's great. And you know what I was thinking about is one of the hardest thing to do is to especially for a winger who goes along who's along the boards, is to get a crisp pass when you're right near the boards. It's
Yeah.
almost impossible to get a good pass out there. That's something that I used to practice a lot. That's what I was just thinking about. But
No, it is a skill. Absolutely, you got to be able to
yeah.
make the wall plays, get pucks out of the, especially if you want to be responsible and have coaches trust, you got to be able to get pucks out of each blue and being able to get it in at the offensive blue and stuff like that.
Exactly, and on the Devils right now, you got Timo Meyer who can come out of the corners pretty good. Jesper Bratt is I would say the best on his edges probably in the league.
He's
He's so
ridiculous on his edges.
so quick and so fast his turn. Yeah, you probably know. I'm a huge fan. I just love his style. I just love his game. Like he was a sixth round pick who
Yeah,
no one thought anything of really, and he's done a lot for himself. So I give him so much respect. I love the guy, and he's a nice guy too. A lot of the Devils are cool, but it's good to hear that you're working out and doing things. The Devils fans want to hear that. They want to know that the players aren't just sitting on boats all summer. And I'm not talking about any specific players, by the way. I just realized there was a photo that just came out of some players that were on a boat. That's not what I'm talking about, fans. Um, but yeah, they want to hear that the players are getting ready and they want to be better for each season. So. The Devils made a few moves. They brought in Connor Brown from Edmonton and Dadonov or Dadonov,
yep.
however you would like to say that. And then, those were the. Right now, Tom Fitzgerald said that he's not doing anything until he signs Luke Hughes to his extension, and that was weeks ago. And I know this has nothing to do with you. You have nothing to do with it, but it's funny because the Devils fans every day are like waking up and coming onto X or wherever, Facebook, I don't know, and saying, "Is Luke getting signed today?" So have you met the Hughes guys? Have you met those guys?
No, I've never met any of them. The only guy I know a bit is Brendan Dillon. He works out at the same gym as me.
Great.
He's a really, really good person. Has been great to me since I'm signed, kind of helping me out, kind of get stuff organized and all sorted before I work my way out there.
That I was about to ask you that, and Brendan Dillon is probably one of the perfect guys. He's a new Devil. It was his first season, and from my experience, everyone loves him. Great. They brought in a few defensemen. They signed Johnny Kovacevic to a 5-year deal. He's injured for the start of the season, but solid defenseman. The pairing of Johnny Kovacevic and Jonas Siegenthaler is one of the top defensive pairs in the league. Very underrated. Very underrated. So that's cool to
Yeah,
hear that you know Dylan. Um, do you know any other guys that you're coming in to play with at all?
I don't. It's funny. Jesper Bratt, when I signed, he had shot me a text as well, which was really kind of him. He didn't have to do that, but
Oh, that's
outside of
see,
that, yeah, I just know Dilly a little bit through kind of training around here and stuff like that.
that's awesome, man, and that's cool that Brad did that. I told you, like I said, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I've been lucky enough. I can't really say much on here, but through my job to meet a lot of people, and you know I know who's nice and who's got a chip on their shoulder. Let's just say that. But yeah, just for Brad shooting you a text, it's always cool to get that. It's never happened to me, but you know, I could imagine just one of the big guys on the teams welcoming you, and that must be really cool to get that text. Wow, I'm just imagining it in my head, like, yeah, I would like just for Brad to text me and say, hey, you know.
It was kind of cool. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I didn't want to keep you too long. I just wanted to introduce you to the fans. I really appreciate you coming on and giving me your time, bro.
Of
Um,
course.
and this season coming up, you'll see us rooting for you up either in Utica or in New Jersey. We'll be there rooting you on. Everybody loves your name. Even my mother, when I told my mother I'm doing, she said, "Who?" And I said, "Angus Crookshank." She goes, "That is a hockey name." And Ken Danico said the same thing when I was talking to Ken Danico. He said, "He's got a hockey name, doesn't he?" And you really do, man. It's such a good name. It's definitely a name I would buy a jersey and get your name put on there. That's one of those names. So you're lucky to have
I
that too.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, but I'll let you go. Like I said, I appreciate it, and good luck this season, man. Hopefully, we see you up in New Jersey.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on.
All right, Angus, and thank you everyone who's watching this. Couple people that were here live. Thank you, fans, and we'll see you this season. All right.